Hi everybody, it's me Jill and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of the Real Housewives of Orange County, Season 14, Episode 13, Spilling Tea and Throwing Shade. Alright, good news Shane, you are no longer the villain of the OC. As indifferent as you are to your own wife and as oblivious as you are to the cues that she's sending out that she needs a little more from you, you still haven't been accused of using a disgusting racial slur. So step aside, Shane, and make room for Dr. Deb. As a general rule, I do not like to talk about things that we haven't seen on the show. Because, when you go down that social media radar online, all the stuff you see on the internet, that is a rabbit hole that you sometimes cannot crawl out of. And I tend to avoid it. This accusation from Christopher Keyes, who is the gentleman that Dr. Deb accused of grabbing her arm at the fashion show last week, it's hard to ignore. I don't know if it's true. At the time of this filming, Dr. Deb is denying that she said the N-word. Bravo is backing her up by saying that yes, she was mic'd that entire day. They went back and reviewed all the audio. They did not hear her say it. Christopher Keyes, who we now know is an official promoter for Orange County Fashion Week, not a security guard. His claim is that as he was walking away, he heard her say the N-word. So obviously, without jumping to any conclusions, we don't know the truth at this point. Could she have mouthed the word to him? Could she have covered her mic and, whispered it at him? Any of that is possible. Is it possible she didn't say it, but he thought he heard her say it? Yeah, that's possible too. I don't think he's lying. I don't know if she's lying. This is the problem. Based solely on their actions last week, I would have to go with Christopher Keyes. He acted professionally. He acted like an adult. He never raised his voice at her. And the only grabbing of arms that we saw was Dr. Deb grabbing his arm. And the fact that he's not making a big, giant production out of her grabbing his arm, he didn't go to the emergency room to get checked out. For that fact alone, he seems quite credible to me. But having said all that, I'm still not going to say yes, she used the N-word, because that's a big accusation. I don't quite want to go there yet until I know for sure. So last week, a few of us have been talking about it in the comments. And as I said in the comments, and I will repeat, if she did, if it is ever proven that she did, Bravo needs to act on that. This cannot be swept under the rug. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get to Vicky's tea party. All right, this episode opens with a bunch of throwaway scenes of everybody taking their kids to doctor's appointments, eye doctors and dentists, and Vicky and Tamara seeing guys peeing on the side of the road. Did we need this scene? Probably not. Anyway, the two of them are driving to a costume shop that Shannon loves, and Shannon's going to meet them there, but she's going to be late. So in the meantime, Tamra, Teletam, is sharing with Vicky that her friend sent her a picture last night because she was out at a bar and she saw Gina with Matt, and they were all lovey-dovey. Were they making out? Maybe. At the bar. Then we see the picture that was taken by her friend. And, we have never seen Matt's face. We've never heard Matt's voice, and we have never seen his face. It is probably the smartest move that Matt has ever made. So you see Gina and then this man with a blurred out face. At least I hope it was blurred out and not just the man has no facial features, because that's the only way we've ever seen him. We got to see their wedding picture last year, Gina and her blurry husband, and now Gina is with her blurry husband at a bar. All right, so what happens next is a little example of one of the ways that Tamra likes to stir the pot. Tamra tells Vicky, and Vicky's reaction is, oh, well, they still love each other. And that wasn't the reaction Tamra wanted. Tamra didn't want sympathy for Gina. Tamra wanted to just stir something up. So she goes, he cheated on her. Vicky, oblivious, goes, well, she wants him back. Well, that's not what she told me. That wasn't going in the direction Tamara wanted. So she adds, and I told her not to drink when she's around him, and my friend said that she was smashed. Maybe her friend told her that. Maybe it's Tamara working overtime to get some drama going. Now she gets a little bit of a reaction out of Vicky, like, oh, like now Vicky thinks that's bad. So good job, Tamara. She ends with, she was telling everybody at the bar that was her husband. And Vicky goes, ugh. That just seems weird to me. I'm sorry, I wouldn't be telling strangers at a bar I'm sitting with, this is my husband. Even if it is my husband. Maybe especially if it's my husband. Right? Like, that doesn't ring true to me. We check in with Bronwyn and her family. She's making dinner that's gluten-free, vegan, nut-free. I don't know. Everybody's got their allergies and their issues. And so she's found a meal that meets all the needs of everybody. Otherwise, she said she normally has to make 4 or 5 things for dinner. They talk about the college scandal, paying to get into college, you know, the Lori Loughlin and Felicity Huffman thing, and her son thinks it's stupid. They talked about it at his school. And then she said that Bella's doing it all on her own. Bella is her oldest, the 18-year-old. And she said to Rowan, you're going to have to do that too. And Rowan said, yeah, I've already looked into the process, and she's looking at FIT and Parsons and NYU, and Sean goes, yeah, all in that same area in New York, huh? So they're a little worried about her leaving home, going far away. Side note, my daughter went to FIT and never came home, so yeah, it's a real worry. She will go to New York, fall in love with the city, get a job there, and never come back. Dealing with that right now. Anyway, I don't know how the subject gets turned around to being old and boring. And Bronwyn said, well, I mean, we might get old, but I don't think we'll ever get boring. And then Rowan said, yeah, like Mama Deb. And Sean goes, yeah, pretty much like Mama Deb. Oof. Hopefully not too much like Mama Deb. Okay, so now we're at Gasoline Alley, which is the costume shop that they're meeting Shannon at. And I guess they're also meeting Gina there. So Shannon gets there, and pretty much right away, Vicky said, did you tell her about Gina? Tamara says no, and Shannon's like, well, what about Gina? And she said, my girlfriend Shelly was sitting across from them, and they were all over each other, and Gina walks in. So Vicky's going, shh, she's here, you can't talk about it. So she walks in and she's like, hi, I'm so sorry I'm late. So they're like, oh no, that's okay, it's okay. And the three of us are going to be like, and they've got these like big gowns and stuff. To be honest, they don't know what the theme is, I don't think. It's a tea party, but Vicky wants to be a queen, like Queen Victoria. And what ends up happening is she's like Marie Antoinette, and Tamara and Shannon are, I don't know, Anastasia and Drizella? Or not even, like, Tamara looks like a Southern belle. It's all over the place. But I will say this, they all have long, big, flouncy dresses on, except for Gina. Because right away, Shannon tells her, you could be the Mad Hatter. And Gina's like, okay, yeah, I'll be whatever. Why are you making her be the Mad Hatter? Sorry, this is turning into a big side note, but I want to shake Gina and say, wake up, because your new besties, the Tres Amigas, are treating you like a pledge in their sorority. Just like how at the Marival, oh, yeah, Gina's going to be with us in our room, except not exactly. You're in our room, but no, you're off in the maid's quarters. Or whatever that, you're in a little casita near our room. As if to say, yes, we're embracing you. You're in our little clique now, Gina, but not just yet. You gotta jump through some hoops first. Why do you even want to be part of them? That I don't understand it. I mean, is your self-esteem that far into the toilet? It must be. So this is another example, like, you got invited to come with us. Bronwyn and Emily did not, but you can't dress like us. We're all in long, flowing dresses, and you've got to be a slutty Mad Hatter. And she's okay with it. Just like a pledge during Hell Week. She'll do whatever you tell her to do. I don't get it. Anyway, she and Tamara go off around a corner, and Tamara goes, "You, what did you do last night?" And she's like, "I know." But you know what? This was genius on Tamara's part. Because now the other ladies are gathering around and Tamara's acting like she's just confronting her in front of them. Maybe so that she doesn't find out that she gossiped about you before you got there. This is another one of Tamara's tactics. And Gina goes, "I swear nothing happened." Tamara's like, "I said no alcohol, no touching, but you were there making out at that bar." And then Gina's like, wait, who said that? Now she finds out that she's caught. Tamara's like, "What are the chances that my good friend was sitting across the bar from you? My good friend Shelley." Okay, that seems very suspicious to me. Just the way she said that whole thing. I mean, what are the chances? Probably pretty good, because my guess is that you sent your good friend Shelley there. She's going out of her way to make it seem so happenstance. That's what I'm saying. I believed she just happened to be there until you started to make such a big point about how random it was that your friend was there. And now I think you sent your friend. Gina's like, "You can't even make out with your own damn husband without getting caught." So Shannon goes, "Did he stay overnight?" No. And then 12-year-old Tamara asks, "Did you touch his wiener?" Gina, maybe a little bit. And she goes, "Well, I mean, it was a setback. It's just a setback." Now, the only person not laughing about this is Shannon, who is taking it very seriously. "Well, it's not a setback, Gina. If you want to get back with your husband, that's great. But, it brings up a lot with me." So what are you saying, Shannon? If you want to repair your relationship with your husband and get your family back together, that's great, just great. But did you ever think about how that might affect me? In Gina's confessional, she goes, "Oh my God, I think this is like Shannon's superpower. You could go anywhere. I'm not exaggerating that. And all roads lead back to Bador." She's not wrong. In the next scene, Gina is bringing her daughter Sienna to see an occupational therapist. If you guys remember, her daughter was having some sensory issues, and so now she is taking her to this center to be tested. Side note, isn't this the exact same dress she was wearing to the costume shop, but in a different color? Maybe she just thought, "Hey, this looks great on me. I'm going to get it in every color." And then Bravo, being the shady queens that they are, is showing them in back-to-back scenes. At the end of this session, the occupational therapist is recommending some kind of therapy for Sienna. She thinks she'll benefit greatly from it. It'll help her in school, help her concentrate, help with all kinds of things. In Gina's confessional, my heart is breaking because she's kind of blaming Matt not being around and her not having enough time to spend on the kids and not paying attention enough to the children as like why she didn't see that there was something going on with Sienna right away. I think she feels guilty that it was brought to her attention by a teacher, maybe. It's killing me that she's thinking that maybe she should get back with Matt because she's not enough for the kids. Matt can step up and be there for Sienna as much as Gina, whether they are married or not. Doesn't mean he no longer has to be a responsible dad. Next, we are in hair and makeup with Tamara getting ready for Vicky's birthday tea party. And she gets on the phone and FaceTimes Kelly, and she's trying to get Kelly to come to the party. Now, we do see a little flashback that we had never seen before, where Tamara and Gina are somewhere and they have Vicky on the phone. They're like, "You're for sure inviting Kelly to your birthday party?" And Vicky said, yep, I'm moving on. And they're like, oh, that's good. That's big of you. So now it's the day of the party, and she's trying to get Kelly to come. But Kelly's like, no, I'm on my way to LA. And she goes, what are you doing? She has to return some dresses or something. And she said, I want you to come and see us all dressed up. And she's like, no, sorry, I am not going to celebrate Vicky's birthday. The only thing I'm going to celebrate is Vicky's funeral. My interpretation of the way Kelly said that was sarcastic, joking. We all know Kelly's sense of humor. This is the way she meant it. That's the way I took it. It was an off-the-cuff, stupid, jokey comment, but it will come into play later. In Kelly's confessional after that, she's like, I'm not going to celebrate Vicky's birthday. I mean, that's fine. We made up. She apologized. That's good. Doesn't mean I have to buy her a birthday present. Hell no. Part of me wishes that she just would go. Just be a bigger person. And I feel like it's a housewife gathering that you should probably be at. You know, just keep your mouth shut and just go and deal with it. But she's not, and I don't necessarily blame her. Okay, they're in a place where they are not attacking each other. Let's just be happy with that. We don't have to be best friends. Like, I get that. And I would also like to point out that when Tamara hangs up the phone with her, she's like, well, I tried. That was a big fail. Oh, well. Her attitude was not, oh my God, Kelly just said something horrible. Because she didn't act like that at all. Now Vicky and Shannon show up at Tamara's house, and they're all getting their hair and makeup done together. Because they're all going together. And you know who isn't going with them? In their special carriage? Gina. Wake up, Gina. You're not one of them. And you should be happy about that. Anyway, they do talk about Kelly not coming, and Tamara doesn't say what she said. She just said that no, she said she didn't want to go. Vicky's like, okay. And Shannon's like, now why would she do that? We make a little bit of progress, and then she takes 3 steps back. I think it's what I said before. Kelly's not interested in moving forward with Vicky and getting closer. I think her goal is to just have the negative stuff on social media stop. Okay, so Gina gets to the tea house first in her crazy Mad Hatter costume. I get the Mad Hatter tea party. I get that. I get the connection to tea, but it's no connection to anybody else. And she's like trying to screw up her courage. Okay, just go with confidence. And she has to sit there and wait because she's the first one there, all by herself with this costume on. Although, side note, that purple wig looks better than her own hair right now. It's shiny. There's no split ends. I mean, that's pretty bad when a costume shop wig looks healthier than your own hair. But it's kind of cute on her. Full disclosure, if you go back to some of my videos from a couple years ago, my hair was blue and purple. So you may not trust my opinion on that one, but I think it's cute. Emily is the next to arrive. She walks right past Gina, doesn't recognize her. And Emily looks beautiful and very, very appropriate for a tea house. She has a very pretty floral skirt on. She has a pretty pink hat. It's cute, but she several times is afraid that she is underdressed. You're not. Just calm down. You look fine. It's everybody else that's crazy. In her confessional, she's like, Gina looks like a pretty woman or something with the wig and the cleavage. And I don't understand this. I don't understand the theme. Are there going to be other prostitutes here? What prostitutes do you know that look like this? I have never seen a prostitute. Okay, to be fair, I have not actually seen that many prostitutes in real life, other than when I was a kid and we used to drive downtown. We'd have to go through some questionable neighborhoods, and under this one viaduct, there would be girls who would come up to your car. And granted, that was a long time ago, but I'm telling you, I never saw anything that looked like the Mad Hatter. So I'm going to have to disagree with you on that one, Emily. Okay, Bronwyn is the next to arrive. She also is dressed nice. She's got like a little, it's either flowers or it's like a little fascinator in her hair. And both she and Emily in their confessionals feel underdressed and mention the fact that they did not get the memo on wearing a costume. Yeah, Bronwyn's like, oh yeah, B-list friendship right here. So if you're curious about the hierarchy of the cool kids or the popular kids, this is how it goes right here. Tamara, Vicky, and Shannon are arriving in a horse-drawn, like Cinderella carriage. Gina didn't get to ride in the carriage. However, Gina was invited to the costume shop and was in on the fact that they were wearing costumes. So Tres Amigas are at the top. Gina is the next tier down, where she is on a need-to-know basis about things she'll be included in partially. Then you have Bronwyn and Emily, who aren't even told that they're wearing costumes, let alone invited to go get them with them. And then there's Kelly, who isn't even in this hierarchy, and I love her for it. She's not playing this game. I feel like she did last year. She was very hurt by Vicky. When Tamara and Shannon were on the outs with Vicky, she was there for her, but now she's done, and I cannot fault her for that. But I do have one little side note. If you're going to dress up like that for a party, you know, if it's your birthday and you're dressing up and a couple of your best friends are dressing up like that too, that's one thing. If it's a party of 100 people and you guys are the only ones dressed up, that's fine. Whatever, it's cute maybe. But when your party is only 6 people and 4 people are told to dress up and 2 people are left out, that's just middle school mean girl stuff right there. I keep having to remind myself that these are women in their 50s. Okay, but before Tres Amigas gets there, the other 3 are sitting, and, you know, I guess Bronwyn is being a little fussy. She says she's allergic to wine and champagne, so she'll just have tea. But when the server tells her that there's cream and sugar on the table, she asks, and sheepishly, she kind of asks if there are any alternatives to the milk. And he said they have coconut milk and she's fine with that. And he goes and gets it. Okay, I just don't feel like that's such a big thing in California in 2019. I don't think that's like crazy fussy. It's not like she's asking for her tea to be 165 degrees exactly or whatever. It didn't bother me that much, but apparently it bothered Gina. Also, Gina is telling them about how she went out with Matt the night before. And then she's like, and I might have slept with him. And she pulls the Mad Hatter hat over her face. Here's the thing. I think she wants everybody to think that's cute. That she's like, I slept with Matt. But they're like stunned. And then Emily goes, wait, you slept with your husband? And she's like, don't make me feel guilty about it. You know, maybe somebody should make you feel guilty about it though, Gina. And Emily, of all people, I feel like Emily probably knows the whole story and was probably on the other end of the phone when you were crying about abuse and things like that. So if anybody should make you feel guilty, it should be Emily. But at this point, all she said was, wait, you slept with your husband. In Emily's confessional, she's like, this is such a setback for her because she was getting to a good place. And now, you know, once you sleep together, it's just a mess. But in person, she's like, well, you never were really good at like boundaries. And she's like, yeah, that's it. Yeah. Gina's just glomming onto any excuse. Yeah, that's it. I didn't have a good boundary in place. So now they all sit down and they start talking about Kelly, of course, because she's not there. So why not? We get a little flashback to the fashion show, which I talked about at the beginning, and I don't want to go there anymore. I guess they were saying Kelly called that woman ugly, and Vicky's like, she always uses that word. She called me ugly. She called you ugly. That's terrible. What does she think is going to happen when you call someone ugly? But Bronwyn is defending her because she had Bronwyn's back at that fashion show, even when she shouldn't have. I thought Kelly should have stayed out of it because ultimately what she was doing was defending Dr. Deb, and Dr. Deb did not deserve to be defended. And then Shannon said, Tamara was just telling us a story that she got in a bar fight this weekend. So now the look on Tamara's face is like, why did you bring this up? But that's a Tamara move. Either she's pretending to be offended by it, or she likes to dish it out, but she can't take it. Either way, we get a flashback to 45 minutes earlier when she's telling Vicky and Shannon, I was talking to Kelly yesterday and she got in a bar fight. And Vicky goes, she was just with their boyfriend. With her boyfriend. She was with her boyfriend. So I guess Kelly and Dr. Brian Regan got in a fight, and Kelly didn't want to fight in public, so she walked away. And when she came back, this girl had her arm around Dr. Brian Regan. Ew. Why? I feel like that part of the story Dr. Brian Regan made up. Why would somebody put their arm around him? Anyway, apparently Kelly went up and grabbed this girl's hand, and now she is saying that Kelly fractured her hand. Now somehow Bronwyn is telling her own story of Kelly and Brian getting in a fight. We were at our mutual friend Sam's house, and Shannon goes, well, no, she said it was in La Jolla. And Bronwyn goes, well, I don't know about that. This is a different time. So Bronwyn, why are you adding to this by talking about another time that they fought? I thought you were here to have Kelly's back in her absence. I don't understand anybody anymore, you guys. Okay, so, all right, this is confusing, and I don't even know if it matters. They're talking about these different times that, like, it's been an Instagram breakup, that, they break up, she takes the photos down, and then that's it. The photos are back up when they're back together, but, like, it's so petty and stupid. Anyway, little Miss Tamara decides to get a little dramatic. She's like, I'm going to go to the bathroom. And so Shannon goes, I'm going to go with you. So the two of them go to the bathroom, and she starts to tell her, I don't like this. I don't like talking about Kelly behind her back. I wanted Kelly to be here. I mean, if I wanted to be a bitch to Kelly, I would have just told Vicky that she wants to celebrate her death. Nicely played, Tamara Judge. Shannon just fell right into your trap. Okay, see, now this makes me really angry. There you go. That's the reaction you were trying to get out of Vicky earlier about Gina. You got it now, girl. Side note, I love that this whole conversation is happening right in front of the bathroom door. So right then and there, they FaceTime Kelly and still try to get her to come. They're talking about you, Kelly, and she's like, yeah, a big surprise. They're trying to get her to come, and she's like, I can't. I'm not coming. I have strep throat really bad, you guys. So Tamara now is like, I'm confused because she told me she was going to LA, and now she has strep throat? I love how Kelly holds the camera so that you can just see her body and not her head. Anyway, everybody gets back to the table. And then Gina gets a phone call, and it is from the woman from that center where she brought her daughter Sienna. The servers are coming and they're delivering the plates of food. Okay, ladies, here you go. And there's talking, and Gina's still on her phone. Maybe those were just appetizers, because then the guy is telling them about the specials or something like that. And like I said, Gina's at the end on the phone, and Tamara goes, sip it. And she goes, I'm sorry, this is about my daughter. I have to take it. You're right. It's an important call. But the second you found out who it was, you should have gotten up from the table and walked away. Right? Who sits there at a party? I don't know. I'm sorry. I just thought that was weird and, wrong. Hi guys, I'm back from a little technical difficulty. The internet went out at my house. I watched it last night when it was on TV, but I am streaming it as I recap, not only to refresh my very poor memory, but also I like to take my screenshots while I'm talking, because if I take the screenshots at the very beginning, I might have talked about something with you guys and then I won't have the screenshot to back it up. Anyway, that is a long explanation for something you didn't even ask about. But yeah, never a dull moment here with technical difficulties. And yes, just in case you're wondering, I have been checking my microphone. All right, back to the show. I think I left off with saying that Gina got a phone call at the table about her daughter, and she finally realizes she should walk away from the table and talk to her. Okay, she has just come back to the table. Side note, is Gina wearing the exact same glasses that Bronwyn was wearing earlier? maybe Bronwyn just lent them to her. So anyway, she gets back to the table and Bronwyn said, everything okay? And she goes, no, yeah, everything's fine. It's just my daughter is going for some occupational therapy. And she said, I think her motor skills are a little behind. And Bronwyn said, we have both ends of the spectrum of like kids who aren't okay and kids who are. But, you know, as long as you have parents who are on it and who love them, everything's going to work out fine. Kids who aren't okay and kids who are? Really? Is that how you want to describe some of your children as not okay? I don't know, Bronwyn. Gina goes, yeah, it's going to be okay. And Bronwyn said, yeah, and you do public school, right? And there's a long pause and, you know, Bravo shows like everyone's reaction. But I don't think that's how it really was because she didn't say anything wrong. And especially her tone was not wrong. She just said, your kids do public school, right? And if Gina would have just said yes, she would have said, oh yeah, because public schools are great. They have your back, which is what she said next. But there's this long pause. We get a confessional of Gina. Yeah, they go to public school. So what? Like, what does that have to do with anything? So what Gina says is, well, she's not in school yet, but yeah. And Bronwyn said, they have your back. And there's a whole big discussion about public versus charter school, where your kids are really in charter school, all this whole big nonsense that the whole table is getting involved in. Anyway, what happens next is that Bronwyn asks for a glass for her sparkling water so that she's not just drinking out of the bottle. Now, some of you may see shades of Dorit and Teddy. You guys remember Glassgate. But, and I promise you, this is not just me defending Bronwyn, because I have not defended her lately. You know that. But to me, this is different. You are at a fancy tea, and people are drinking tea out of cups and saucers, and it's all pinkies up, ladies. She just wants a glass so that she's not swigging out of a bottle. I don't think that's the same as like Dorit not wanting to drink champagne out of a wine glass or vice versa, whatever it was. I don't know, you guys. It didn't bother me. But it bothered Gina. Well, on top of she already being bothered by the public school comment, Gina, after that, goes, oh my God. I just can't with you, Bronwyn. Honestly, you know, you're like, public school, yeah, public school, you're going to be great. And then there's like, can I have a glass? I don't want to drink out of a bottle. Bronwyn's laughing because she doesn't know she's being insulted yet. And then Gina goes, you're kind of like a snob, but like not in the funniest way to me. So now Bronwyn gets it and she goes, oh, that was mean. Gina, yeah, it was mean because I don't appreciate it. Because I don't care if your kids go to public school or private school, you kind of sound like an asshole. Anyway, I told you everyone was getting involved in whether her kids go to a public school or it's a charter school. And, you know, it turns out that she and her husband actually do donate a lot of money to the school. But Bronwyn is now getting really upset and crying. And she said, listen, I only said this because I want to support public school. That's it. And, you know, she's really crying. And then Gina goes, I'm not doing this crying thing. Oh, God, I hate that. I'm not doing this crying thing. If someone were fake crying, okay. I don't think she's pretending to be upset. She's upset. You know what? This whole thing wouldn't have been an issue if Gina didn't just get a call regarding her daughter. It's on her mind. It's upsetting her. You know, she came back to the table upset about her daughter. And I think anybody saying anything might have set her off. So Bronwyn's upset and she says to Gina, I was just trying to applaud public schools. That's all. And Gina, she goes crazy. She said, oh, let's just say that I will send my kid, if I win the lottery, I would send my kid to the bougiest school ever. And Bronwyn interrupts and says, I don't send my kids to a bougie school. And Gina goes, I'm saying that for me. If I win the lottery, it's where I would send my kids. It's not all about you, Bronwyn. And she's screaming. I mean, screaming. And of course, everybody at the tea house turns their head. Wish I was there. Her behavior is over the top nuts. This is a woman who has been wound so tight for so long that the slightest thing is going to set her off. And it did. And Gina takes a sip of her tea and she goes, "Happy birthday, Queen Victoria." So the editing is weird because that's how we ended at that commercial. But then when we come back, we're back to Gina yelling, "It's not all about you, Bronwyn." Bronwyn gets very visibly upset and she gets up to go to the bathroom. And then Gina goes, I'm sorry. I really am the Mad Hatter. Yeah. In Emily's confessional, she said that Gina has been annoyed by Bronwyn for a long time. And then we get a flashback to when Bronwyn said, "You're like a little sister." And Gina, "Oh, that's bullshit." But you know what? All that reminds me of is that she lets the other ladies call her baby. Oh, God. Okay, Shannon went after Bronwyn, and they're in the same spot in front of the bathroom doors. And, oh, my God, you guys, yet again, did you see that poor woman who's, like, hugging the wall to try to get out of the bathroom and out of the way? Oh, God. Anyway, Shannon's trying to tell her that you and I are different than Gina. Gina never opens up to people, and it's hard for her. So, I don't know. It's all so stupid. Somehow she gets her to go back to the table and apologize to Gina because she didn't explain herself properly. Well, back at the table, the apology doesn't go great. And partly it is Bronwyn's fault because Bronwyn says, "Hey, listen, I'm sorry I was talking about me when it was your moment." Okay. I think that was a poor choice of words. Gina's like, "Well, I don't have moments. Okay, I was just talking about my daughter. But I think it's because I have a hard time opening up." And then Bronwyn has to say something else, Listen, I have 7 kids, so when it's about kids, I tend to chime in. And then whatever she says, Gina's like, Bronwyn shuts up. But then the laughable part of this whole thing is that Gina says, "So when I'm going through something, like I have told these guys," and by these guys, she means tres amigas, "and I don't know, like they've been sensitive with me." Sensitive? You are describing Tamara Barney and Vicky Gunvalson, maybe Shannon, as sensitive? Yeah. I've been watching Vicky Gunvalson for 14 years. I would never describe her as sensitive. I mean, sensitive when it comes to her own feelings, yes. She's still pulling that. "I'm Queen Victoria. This is my party. Bow and curtsy to me. Yeah. Oh boy, this is my birthday party and everybody's in the bathroom." Or, "Oh boy, my birthday party and it's not all about me." That is the only way she's sensitive. But sensitive to other people's feelings? I don't think so. All right, I guess they get over it. Bring out a birthday cake for Vicky. And Vicky takes a call at the table. And I guess it's a work call. So Tamara's telling her, "Get off the phone. No work on your birthday, Queen Victoria." And she's smashing cake all in her face. And I guess that's kind of the end of the party. Now we check in with Kelly. And she's at home with Jolie, and her phone rings, and Jolie goes, "Bronwyn's on the phone." Prior to that, though, she's coughing and saying she thinks she has strep throat. And I guess she tells her, that everybody was talking about her. And Kelly's confessional, she goes, "Of course, everybody's talking about me while I'm not there. Don't they have anything better to do? Can't they, talk about solving world problems?" Yeah, because that's what the Housewives are going to talk about. Whenever they get together, it is just like a UN meeting, people. Oh, back to the tea party. It is just Tres Amigas leaving the tea house, and they're getting in the car. Good God, I hope they put down a deposit on those costumes because there's cake all over everything. Vicky gets her dress caught in the door of the car. I mean, They are so rough on things. We even see the table at the tea house. Looks like there was looks like there was a food fight, but basically there was with the cake. Anyway, the three of them are in the back of this car now, heading home. They're talking about Kelly, and Shannon said, so wait, you don't think that Kelly was sick? And Tamara, bravo on the acting job, by the way, Tamara. Tamara says, well, she wasn't sick when I talked to her earlier when she was on her way to LA, and she said she wanted to celebrate Vicky's funeral. And scene. Good job. You nailed it in the first take, Tamara. So Vicky, who was laying back looking like death warmed over, sits up and goes, are you serious? Wait, she wants to be dead? Okay, Tamara, this is where you say, no, she doesn't want you dead. She was kidding. It wasn't very nice. It was in poor taste. Stop acting like it was an actual death threat from Kelly. Look, Kelly makes poor choices. But if you don't take into context the intent behind it, well, then you're just a pot stirrer. You know it was nothing more than a stupid comment on Kelly's part. But you just couldn't let it go, could ya? Now we're back at Kelly's house and Dr. Brian Reagan is there. Gosh, I'm so glad he was able to film in his scrubs and his doctor coat. Aren't you? I'm so afraid that I'm going to forget he's a doctor. Anyway, she goes, they were talking about us at the tea party. Oh yeah? What did they say? They said that we fought and that we broke up and it was on Instagram. And he goes, it's all true. And honestly, it disarmed her because she had to laugh at that. Anyway, his words of wisdom are getting lame. He tells her, your emotions are deep. You love deeply and you get angry deeply. Now we're in the car with the Tres Amigas, and Shannon goes, someone needs to tell Kelly that it's not okay to just say certain things. And she leans over and says to Vicky, I'm sorry you had to hear that. That had to be really hard to hear. And Vicky's crying and saying, nobody's ever said such mean things to me. She tells me I'm ugly. She says I'm a pig. She says Steve is a piece of shit. Now it's time for Tamara to just sit back and enjoy what she has created. Do you guys remember earlier in my recap when I said Tamara's getting her hair done and she's on the phone trying to get Kelly to come to the birthday party? And they hung up and I said, right now, Tamara is not upset by what Kelly just said because Tamara knew she didn't mean it. She knows that Kelly vomits words without thinking and that she doesn't really want to celebrate Vicky's death. But now, sitting in this car, Tamara's very quiet and solemn and inside probably very, very happy that she created a big rift. But then Shannon, who honestly is the only one of Tres Amigas who has any redeeming qualities in my mind. I love Shannon. I don't love her with Tres Amigas, but she then said, but Vicky, you have said things about her too. I don't say anything on social media. And she goes, not on social media, but other places. And then Vicky does what Vicky always does. She announces all of the things she hasn't said. I've not talked about her looks. I've not talked about her family. I've not talked about how she pushed her mother down the stairs. I did not talk about how she doesn't have a relationship with her mom. Shannon. Well, now you are. Yeah, Vicky, now you are. You didn't say any of it, did you? You just either alluded to it on camera or on camera, you will tell us that somebody told you that she did cocaine or she did a train or whatever. It's always somebody told me. I mean, I don't know it for a fact, but it doesn't matter if you know it for a fact, does it, Vicky? As long as you get it out there on national TV, that's all that matters. Because, half of us are watching the show while we're doing something else, right? You're cleaning up the dishes, or you're giving your kid a bath, or you're putting your kids to sleep. You're going through bills. This is life. Most of us don't have the luxury of just sitting down and concentrating on your show the way I do. I concentrate for you. And so somewhere in the back of our minds, then we're going to just hear, ooh, Kelly does cocaine. That's wild or whatever, and then we move on and we don't think about it anymore. But what sticks with people is, I heard somewhere that Kelly does cocaine. And then Tamra playing her part after all that, and Vicky goes, I talked about that stuff. It gets quiet and Tamra goes, she pushed her mother down the stairs? And that's what Tamra does. We end with Shannon saying, I'll sit down with you and talk to her and tell her that, what she said isn't right. She can't do that. And Tamra goes, with me? And she goes, yeah, Tamra, you could take the girl out of the hood, but you can't take the hood out of the girl. And you should know, Tamra. That's where this episode ends, you guys. I never thought I would say this, but I am looking forward to the ladies of New Jersey to pull me out of this pit of despair I am in. Oh, God. This is a rough Orange County season. Hard to recap, but I will. I will be back. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. I'll be back next Tuesday at 1 p.m. Central Time for the next recap of The Real Housewives of Orange County. Bye.